Hello, everyone. This is Scott Smith with another Saturday service. I'm actually recording this on Friday night. I've just had the most beautiful and long day from 10 a.m. until about 7:30 p.m. on Zoom calls involved in readings and meditations and rituals. And good gods, it feels good to be doing this again at this level. Um, I just love it. We just finished our Samhain ritual in the Temple of Witchcraft, and that was absolutely beautiful, led by Christopher Pensack and Matuka Moonbear, along with just a couple handfuls of our community people. It was just really great working with the names of the dead and raising that cone of power, turning the wheel. If you see a Temple of Witchcraft, Wheel of the Year celebration, any of the 8 gates of power between the solstices, the equinoxes, and the doorways in between, I highly recommend it. If you practice magic, if you're mystical, or you're curious about the experience, it's a great way to go and be a part of a broader, loving, and wonderful community. I am working with the Medieval Feathers Tarot again. I'm doing this video sort of ad hoc and late on Friday because I'll be driving on Saturday and then playing game with some friends. So I'll be away tomorrow and I do want to get the video out for you. So we're doing that tonight. The reason I'm using the Medieval Tarot is because this card for me really connects to the spirits of those who have crossed, but most specifically, those ascended, or as we call them in the temple, mighty dead, those beings who are kind of the saints of witchcraft, are illustrious or ascended members of community that we know or that we remember on their um, the lesser and greater feast days, and also those that we don't know, the unnamed dead, and those who were witches that we don't remember. When we work with the mighty dead, we get directions and we get insights from those sorts of people. And this deck for me is for working specifically with those energies. So we're going to do a 3 card, and I have already done a version of this for a group on Facebook, and so I'm going to do one here. This is for what was, what is, and what could be. And I invite for you, after you read these 3 cards, what was, what is, and what could be, to draw a card of your own and personalize the reading. Think of these 3 cards as sort of a theme of an overarching energy for you, and that card that you pull helps to ground the energy. We live in a completely spiritual world, but we rely on bringing those energies in by creating anchors. So if we get insights and then we get a vision, right, we need to do something about it in order for that energy to actualize. Um, the beautiful thing about witchcraft is that we include things in what we do because everything is spiritual. We're living in a manifest reality, and that manifest reality is all the stuff around us. It's all part of the consciousness of creation. So I invite for you to consider that. Draw your own card, be a part of the reading. And if you'd like to share it, you can do that in the comments below this post. So, what was, what is, and what shall be, this is just sort of like a little fuel from the other side for the week. As I shuffle these cards, hold that intention in mind. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. What was? We have, the Lovers. A great card. I love this deck version of things. I'm going to do this, it tends to blur on this one, so I'll take a photo of this. Um, this is that card, which represents that coming together. The um, the card itself says the lovers, and um, the reverse of this is inconsistencies. When we see a major tarot arcana card, what we're looking at is life energies, big life energies that are moving through. Some people might even say karmic energies. I don't mean that in the pop psychology or the popular way of like, like karma's going to get you, but the actual use of the word of karma, which is the repetition of things and the results of those repetitions. So when we see the lovers, we say, What was this relationship a love relationship? Were these relationships that come up? Was this energy that's coming up that's referencing the now about love or about relationships, the relationships we have or the relationships that we have had? We are asked to look at those and say, what did we come out of that relationship with? Or if it's about a current relationship that you're experiencing, this could say, how has that relationship evolved or changed, right? I like the parts of this card which say inconsistencies, because these are the things which cause us to question, to look again, to feel doubt, or to grow and to change and embrace the fact that we become different people and we see different things. But because this is in a was position, this is to look at those relationships that might be referenced now. So if a relationship is coming up for you this week that's in your past, right? That's returned, literally returned, come in the form of a message or a text message or a telephone call or a run-in, or it's just emotionally or psychically referential for you to review that relationship and ask yourself, what came of you from that relationship and why is it now? So the benefit or the importance of that is in that review, we can see that there was something that was a boon for us, even if the relationship was bad, that caused us to change, that caused us to take action and be where we are. Or if it was positive and good, if it was a loving, healthy relationship, right? Like there was something there that caused us to be where we are. So the first part of the week, this what was energy of the lovers is there for us. So I'll place that on the altar for us. I'm going to draw a second card. This is for what is. It can be the action card. This can be the thing that we can use to take action now. I'm going to give those a nice shuffle there. We see this. This is the present moment. This is what we can do in the immediate, right? So here we go. One, two, and three. And here is that card. It is, the world, right? Here we are. And it has that pheasant feather in the card. And I wish that blur wouldn't happen. I'll take a photograph of that again so that you can see it. Maybe I do that. That might make it. No? Okay. All right. So when we see the world and we see that pheasant energy, I want to point out the power of that pheasant energy, the flicking of that tail, the moving of the energy, and that they have these really long feathers at the end, right? This is a vital energy which is asking us to connect to the world as it is. Though our visions, though our spiritual, escapades and escapes, though these journeys might take us into other realms and other places, ultimately the goal is about being here and now. The tides grow thin as we move towards Samhain, as we move towards this 15-degree Scorpio when the veil is thin, right? The dead are always with us, right? The spirits are always with us. But these times when these energies are heightened and we become more sensitive to them, right? This card, the world in this position, is asking us to be more physically present, is asking us to be more physically aware of the world around us and to be more embodied. The inverse description of this card is disconnect, right? It asks us where we have been disconnected and why, right? Was there a good reason for that? Because it's not really a judgment about whether you should be connected or not be connected. And if you are or aren't, this is some sort of moral judgment about you. It's really about asking the right question, right? Why did I disconnect from this? Why did I connect to this? Why do I need to connect to this? Why do I need to disconnect from this? So there's a question there. Paired with the levers, right? This might say, what is this relationship connection that you have connected to or disconnected from? Why is that important this week? And how does that shape your world? How did if it was a past relationship, how does it shape your present worldview of the world that you have now? What does that mean for you? There's always a boon in there, right? Even when it was challenging, I'm not saying that bad people in bad situations was a good for you in some sort of way. I'm not saying that sort of thing, but I am a cup half full person because I believe the attitudes that we cultivate really shape the way that we see the world. And we're going to shape the way we see the world regardless because our framing, our biases do that. So why not cultivate an optimistic one, right? So in all that's happened, maybe you got a good scar, right? And all that's happened, maybe you had the most loving and wonderful relationship. Each of these things shape us. They have shaped our world today. What is shaping our world now? And what do we do to really connect to that information about what's happening for us and around us or through us? What are we doing? And how is that sort of putting a signature on the world? What does that mean for you? That would be the second card for the week. And then this third card, this is what could be. So this is a little bit of a visionary card. This is saying potential, right? This is saying this could happen. This could be here. The future is not set in stone. There's only a couple things that are guaranteed to happen, right? And one of them is this too shall pass, right? So that's there. Nothing is permanent. It's all transient, right? Even us, right? Even our eternal souls, if you want to see it that way. The light that is us that never dims or diminishes, but just changes forms after we die, it's there, right? But the rest of it is transient. So what's this last energy? That might give us a little bit of that star energy that we're looking for about what tomorrow might bring. And so we're going to go 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to pull from this third card, and ooh, we have two. We have the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Coins. Both of these are process cards. One has to do with self-regulation, right? So this Eight of Wands is about our personal power. This is not burning ourselves out. This is maintaining the power and energy that we need. This is also maintaining the resources that we need. So these are both mindfulness of our energy and where we're putting it, and mindfulness of staying grounded because there's still some things that need to be done. The fight is not over. The opposite end of these things is the Eight of Wands in reverse, or with the Eight of Coins in reverse. We have to watch what we're committing to and being hasty, making snap judgments or fast decisions, emotional responses. I would look at that. I would look at being overly emotionally responsive and what that really says about you. If I put this all together into a three with technically four card spread, look to the relationships that have influenced you and your view specifically that you've had of those relationships. See how they have shaped your world and in what way. Ask yourself, what does that mean? There are things that are happening in the world right now that require our attention. They ask us to be grounded and take action. That's that pheasant feather, that energy of snap, come into power. Like, let's do this. I don't know if you've ever worked with the pheasant feather in energy work. I've had the experience of that working with someone who worked with feathers a lot, and they gave me this great big long tail pheasant feather, and I would snap it over the body in doing energy work. It's a great way to bring vital energy, almost serpentine like, into things. What are you connecting to? What's snapping you into reality at this moment? And what's your response? Are you having a really response to it? Are you having a very response to it? Like, what is that energy? Because those are telling about some of the places. When I see eights, the other thing that I think of when I see the eight of anything is like that's where the work's at, right? So when we look at those two cards, you have the Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. And the author of this says self regulation and commitment, and grounding and hastiness. Now, those could be two indicators of where you might want to watch your energy. I don't do predictive readings very often. I can do them, and I have done them for certain people who want to do projections about the future of things. But if I were to look at this, I would say there's a lot about energy mindfulness this week, and specifically our responses and the way that we are managing who we are and what we're doing, and to look at really understanding the process of that. Like, what's really motivating me? What's really behind the way that I'm choosing to go? Like, what's influencing my decision at this time? And the key element that would be missing would be the question of what is my choice in this, and how do I come back to that centeredness about making my own choice, that it's not about the influence of someone else. Even though it may be a positive influence, I still have to make my own decision. When you pull your fourth card, you might want to ask, how does this ground for me? How does this make sense to me? I'm going to pull one for myself, right? So I'm going to just draw that and draw that out to sort of demonstrate how that might work. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and my card is, oh, the Empress. She's holding a peacock feather. What a lovely card. Um, I really love this deck, the Medieval Tarot, Feather Tarot. So the Empress, I was just speaking about this morning. We think of the Empress, we think of Venus, we might think of Earth, right? Because she has that earthy quality to her because she's related to the planet Taurus. We might think of water because of healing. Um, but technically, when I think of Venus, I think of the fire of water. I think of that um, planetary prayer that references Venus like pulling and churning the guts, like she grabs you, like she's desire, right? There's a nature's fire that's there that's really potent and powerful. So when I see this, I can say, oh, right. So what's the quality of Taurus there that I might be missing, right? We're talking about um, fruitfulness, right? We're talking about manifestation, we're talking about productivity, but we're also talking about what's really influencing me, right? Like, because we could be influenced by flavor, we could be influenced by preference, or we can be influenced by the things that we like and we don't like, right? So when I see this for myself, I'm like, ooh, right, peacock, ego, right? The beauty of it all, which should be a very magical and spiritual card, but as a feather, it could also represent our ego and being overly sensitive to things. What is it about relationship and my place in the world and my time management and my energy management and my resource management for myself that's really affecting how I feel I am in the world and how is this causing me to act, right? So when you draw your fourth card, maybe you get the star, which could be about hope. Maybe you get, oh, I don't know, maybe you get the queen of swords, right? It's talking to you about leadership or the way that you use your words in the world and how they influence people. Or maybe you get, the chariot. Maybe that literally has something to do with travel planning for yourself. Or maybe it has to do with its Cancerian influences, like your power of mothering or othering in the world. You have to pull that fourth card and sort of like read it for yourself. Like, what could it mean? Well, I understand what this could mean for me specifically, um, based on my week, right? I'm still going to look forward to say, okay, I'm going to put the Empress on my altar this week. And I'm going to say, what does this mean for me? And how am I being this Empress in the world, with my relationship, and with my energy and the management of my resources, right? That's the way that I would read that fourth card for yourself. I do readings and I do them on Zoom, and I just did a few today. I really love to do them. And I have a calendaring system on my website, starandstonellc.com. This is my business. This is what I do. I've done it for a long time. And you find that that price doesn't meet you, just give me a jingle. I'm happy to work with you to help you out to get you a reading. We'll see what we can do. You can also find me on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Scott K. Smith. And I do a lot of creative stuff there right now. There's a complete or almost complete magical system that's set up there on casting spells. I still have one more segment to publish for you, and a couple of other things as well. When I look at the week, I would say, remember love is bigger than ego. Allow it to guide you. Draw on your ancestors. Remember that the dead see all, and there is nothing hidden from them. So when we feel our ego is bruised or inflated because something has been exposed that we didn't expect, remember that it's already been exposed because those who've gone before us see all that we do. There is nothing hidden from the ancestors. Manage your mind, your time, your energy in a way that is efficient for your growth. There's work to be done with the issues that come up this week. Make note of them and see what they bring. Pull that fourth card and see how this might all come together for you by anchoring something like a message like this with a personal card that you pull for yourself. You may find additional insight. If you have questions, let me know. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. That always is helpful to me.